Tomorrow you'll know why you watch this. That's what keeps running through your mind right now, isn't it? This strange feeling that something important is happening, but you can't quite name it. Like standing at the edge of a memory that hasn't formed yet. Why tomorrow? Why not now? Why does understanding always seem to arrive one day late? Let me tell you something about how knowing works. Real knowing, not the kind you get from books or teachers. The kind that changes everything. You think knowledge is instant. You think that when truth appears, it should be obvious, immediate, like flipping a light switch. But that's not how consciousness operates. That's not how you operate. Knowledge is more like a seed. You plant it today, tomorrow it sprouts. And you look at it and think, oh, that was always going to grow. I just needed to give it time. Right now, as you watch this, something is being planted. You might not feel it. You might think you're just listening to words. But underneath the words, underneath the thinking, something else is happening. Something that doesn't need your permission or your understanding to begin. Tomorrow, when you remember this moment, you'll realise what it was. Not because tomorrow brings new information, but because tomorrow brings recognition. The recognition that what you're hearing right now is what you've always known, but never admitted. That's what makes this uncomfortable, isn't it? Not that it's new, but that it's familiar. Like meeting someone and realising you've known them your whole life. People spend their entire existence looking for something to believe in. Some truth to hold on to. Some answer that will finally make sense of everything. And they search outside themselves, in books, in teachers, in experiences, thinking that truth is somewhere out there waiting to be found. But what if truth isn't found? What if it's just recognised? You are watching this because part of you already knows. Not the thinking part. Not the part that's trying to figure this out, but the deeper part. The part that doesn't speak in words. That part knows exactly why you're here right now. And tomorrow, the thinking part will catch up. Tomorrow the mind will stop resisting what the heart already understands. Tomorrow you'll know why you watch this, because tomorrow is when you'll stop pretending you didn't already know. Let me ask you something. Have you ever had the experience of learning something and then realising you always knew it? Like somebody just reminded you of what you'd forgotten? That's what's happening here. This isn't teaching. This is remembering. The reason it takes until tomorrow is because your mind needs time to stop defending against the truth. Right now, as I'm speaking, your mind is probably doing something interesting. It's listening, sure, but it's also judging, analysing, comparing what I'm saying to what you already believe, trying to fit this into your existing understanding. That's what minds do. They protect, they preserve, they maintain the story you've been telling yourself about who you are and how the world works. And when something threatens that story, even if it's true, especially if it's true, the mind pushes back. But here's the interesting thing. The mind can only resist for so long. Eventually, it gets tired. Eventually, it relaxes. And in that relaxation, in that moment when it stops fighting, something clicks. Not because anything changed, but because the resistance stopped. That's tomorrow. Tomorrow is when the resistance stops. When the mind says, okay, fine, I'll stop pretending I don't understand. And in that moment, you'll know. You'll know why you watch this. You'll know what I'm really saying beneath the words. you'll know what you came here to remember. By the way, our shared space of light and awareness is on its way to 100,000 people. Thank you to everyone who subscribes and brings this moment closer. So what are you supposed to do between now and tomorrow? Nothing. Everything. It doesn't matter. Because the seed is already planted. You can water it or ignore it. You can think about it or forget about it. Either way, it's growing. That's what seeds do. Some of you are probably wondering if this is real, if what I'm saying is true, if you can trust this. And that's the mind again, doing its job, protecting you from the possibility that everything you thought you knew might be incomplete. But let me ask you this. What if the question isn't whether this is true? What if the question is whether you're ready to admit it's true? Because deep down, underneath all the thinking and questioning and analysing, you already know. You've always known. You just haven't been ready to say it out loud. Tomorrow you'll be ready. Not because tomorrow brings courage, but because tomorrow brings exhaustion. Tomorrow is when you'll be tired of resisting, tired of pretending, tired of looking for answers, when the answer has been staring at you in the mirror your whole life. You are what you've been looking for. That's the secret nobody wants to tell you. Not because it's hidden, but because it's too simple, too obvious, too ordinary. You wanted enlightenment to be special, dramatic, extraordinary. But it's not. It's the most ordinary thing in the world. It's just being what you are. Finally, without apology, without pretense, without the story. And tomorrow you'll know that. Tomorrow you'll look back at this moment and laugh. Because it was always so obvious. Right here, right now. Nothing to achieve, nothing to become. Just this awareness, this presence, this simple, undeniable fact of being. But today, you're not quite ready to accept that. Today, you still need the journey, the seeking, the searching, the illusion that you're getting somewhere. And that's okay. That's part of it. The journey isn't wrong. It's just unnecessary. But you don't know that yet. Tomorrow you will. Right now, something in you is resisting what I'm saying. Something is saying, this can't be it. It can't be this simple. There must be more. There must be something I need to do, some practice, some technique, some path to follow. And I'm telling you there isn't. But you won't believe me. Not today. Today you still need to believe in the path, in the process, in the idea that you're working towards something. So go ahead. Keep working. Keep seeking. Keep trying. But tomorrow you'll see. Tomorrow you'll realise you were always already home. You just kept walking past the door because you thought home must be somewhere else. That's what this whole thing is about. Not becoming, not achieving, not transcending, just recognising, just seeing what's always been true, but never acknowledged. You exist. That's not in question. You are aware. That's not in question. And that awareness, that existence, doesn't depend on anything. Not on your thoughts, not on your feelings, not on your circumstances. It's here. Always has been. Always will be. Before thoughts, after thoughts, underneath thoughts. The constant, the unchanging, the witness. Tomorrow, you'll know that you're not the thoughts. You're not the feelings. You're not the story. You're what watches the thoughts, feels the feelings, observes the story. And when you know that, really know it. Not as a concept, but as direct experience. Everything changes. Or rather, nothing changes. It's all still here. Life still happens. But you're no longer lost in it. You're no longer drowning in it. You're just here, watching it all unfold, present, aware, free. But freedom isn't what you think it is. Freedom isn't escaping life. Freedom isn't transcending life. Freedom is being fully in life, but not defined by it, not limited by it, not imprisoned by it. Like an actor who knows they're playing a role. They play it fully, completely, with everything they have. But they never forget it's a role. They never lose themselves in the character. Tomorrow you'll understand that. Tomorrow you'll see that you've been playing a character called yourself, and you've been playing it so convincingly that you forgot you're the actor. You thought you were the character. You thought the character's problems were your problems. The character's fears were your fears. The character's limitations were your limitations, but tomorrow you'll remember. Tomorrow you'll step back just enough to see the difference between the character and the actor, between the role and the one playing the role. And in that seeing, there's freedom. Not freedom from the character, but freedom within the character. The freedom to play it fully, without being trapped by it. This is what tomorrow brings. Not new information, not new insight, just the willingness to see what's already here, what's always been here, what you've been avoiding seeing, because seeing it would mean the end of the seeking. And you're not quite ready for that yet, but tomorrow you will be. So why did you watch this? Why did this video find you at this exact moment in your life? Why did something in you click on it, even if you don't know why? Because part of you knows, the deeper part, the part that doesn't need reasons or explanations, that part knows this is the right moment. Not a moment too soon, not a moment too late. Right now, right here. This is the moment before the knowing, the threshold, the edge. And tomorrow, you'll cross it. Not because you did anything, not because you figured anything out, but because the time will be right, the resistance will drop, the mind will relax, and what was always true will finally be allowed to be seen. If this video changed something in you, write in the comments. I'm ready to see. Write it as your reminder, your acknowledgement for tomorrow, when you wake up different than you went to sleep. When you realise that understanding doesn't come from outside. It comes from giving yourself permission to know what you already know. Tomorrow isn't really tomorrow. Tomorrow is just the next moment, when you stop lying to yourself, when you stop pretending you don't understand, when you stop waiting for permission to be what you are. You are the awareness, you are the space, you are the witness. You've always been, you'll always be. And tomorrow, you'll know it. Not as a belief, not as a concept, but as the most obvious, undeniable, ever-present reality of your existence. This is why you watch this. Nobody